The NYX League. Where to begin? So, started off on this league. I've just returned to Path of Exile after being a bit of an ARPG junkie back in 2019. I played a lot of Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls when it was cheap on PS4. I managed to pick that up. And then I moved on to Path of Exile back on PS4 around about Synthesis League in 2019. And when the Synthesis Flashback League ended up happening, that was like a little short 2-week league, 2 to 3 weeks. Played a RF Chieftain back then and managed to get pretty high ranking on the hardcore ladder for that league. I think I managed to get like 200th, which isn't crazy, but it wasn't too bad. And then I took a bit of a break from ARPGs for a long while until recently. I share a Steam library with one of my friends and jumped on to playing Grim Dawn because he had it in his library, and I thought, hey, I miss ARPGs. This is really fun. And Grim Dawn's a super solid game, but I was missing like trading, the interactivity of a community, so decided to jump back onto Path of Exile after I think seeing a Mathil video. With that, started off Necropolis League on an Ice Shot Deadeye, which I had a good bit of fun with, but I was starting to lose a bit of fashion. I wasn't a little bit of passion. I wasn't progressing quite as fast as I wanted, and then ended up coming across NYX's YouTube channel and saw this private league coming up, and I'm like, wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. Might be a chance to get into a top 10 somewhere, see what I could do. I'm not the best at the game, but saw the league, made a plan, decided I was playing a Wave of Conviction Elementalist. I know Detonate Dead's really good, but I'm like, I'm a hipster. I'm going to play a Wave of Conviction, and it's also a really solid solo self-found build. So I did a practice run in solo self-found where I just wanted to see how fast I'd get to the end of the campaign, how viable this was going to be, and turned out I was really enjoying the build coming over from being a super squishy Deadeye. Set myself a few goals for the league, so I wanted to complete either an X arc and hopefully get to some of the other endgame bosses. I wanted to get to like level 95 and fully complete a build, put some currency into it, try to craft some of my own items, and just see how far I could go with it before I sort of hit a brick wall, which thankfully hasn't even happened yet. So first one, seeing how fast I could complete the campaign, I managed to get my runtime down from about 16 hours, the first character I've leveled on PC, down to 7 hours and 15 minutes on this character, which was super happy with. I'd like to get down to 5 for the next league that I run, or maybe like 5.5, but 7 hours was a super good time to get through the campaign. Felt not super optimal, but really on the ball with it, managing to get it done. And I believe in Act 10, in the Reliquary, I managed to get a Divine Orb drop, which really helped me towards getting to my build. I whacked that in sale immediately for 100C, and someone came to come and buy it from me while I was in the middle of fighting Kitava, so I invited them to my party so I didn't lose them because I really wanted the money, and they joined, helped me kill Kitava, and gave me a Gratz, which was a really fun way to start off on the league. So I had my currency, I went around, a bunch of people were giving away some free items. Early in the league, I was really struggling because I spent all of my money, or a lot of my money, and I didn't have all my resistances, and someone was giving a Winter Heart away, which covered all of my cold resistances that I needed. So I whacked that back up, hoping that someone else would need it, but haven't been able to give it away yet. But managed to get a few solid items early on that helped me get going, but I couldn't get a good weapon. I was really struggling there. I don't think it was this exact Void Scepter, but I even think it was a Demon's Horn with a bit of fire damage to spells, but I was an Ignite build. I wanted more damage over time and more general fire damage, and ended up joining the Frank Guild after seeing a Discord post about it. And in there, in the good old free-for-all uniques, there was an Obliteration, which was absolutely perfect for this build that helped me really fast-track my progression towards getting the Atlas completed. With that, I set myself the goal of getting 100% Atlas completion so I could unlock all of Kirak's vault and get myself some pretty armor to go along with my character. And I managed to do that mostly solo. I didn't buy any maps from people until I wanted to start completing unique maps. And we got all of the challenges done for white, yellow, and red maps. And obviously, looking here, I managed to get Eater and Exarch done. I think in my first Exarch kill, I got super lucky for an Ignite build, and I managed to get this Polaric Devastation, which has, once again, made everything really easy, like a 2-div item. Super hype about that one. As a first drop. My Eater items weren't as lucky. But then getting towards the end, a lovely player managed to gift me a bunch of unique maps so I could get the rest of my atlas filled out. And they were happy to give them away for free, but I turned around and was like, oh, is there anything that I can give you? And they're like, oh, do you have any yellow essence? And I think I'd been running Harvest as a side thing for my Betrayal and Expedition tree that I was running for leveling, and I had like maybe 1,000 to 1,500 yellow essence that I gave to them as a thank you for giving me so many unique maps and helping me get all these items. With doing Betrayal and this early on, I managed to get an absolute Rogpog pair of boots. Just did a random craft. I was looking for an armor ES base, jumped on a Rog, and I managed to get massive resistances on these boots, which really set me up, as well as movement speed. So that was an awesome Rog drop early on. I think these were probably worth, like, I don't know, 3 div-ish, give or take. But that was a great start for getting everything done. And then I think on just a random Identify on an Amethyst ring, I managed to get this guy here that has 54% Chaos Res, max life, a bit of regen, which I sorely needed on this build, which was another really good drop early. So 3 pretty big ticket items early on that I managed to suss out. And then posted up saying, hey, does anyone have any Essences of Horror? I really want to craft myself a helmet. And Gooby came in clutch saying, yep, I've got a few that you can have a crack with and see what you can make. And I managed to make myself this helmet. It's not the best thing ever, but it had increased elemental damage, max life, and a little bit of res and regeneration. And I was like, sweet, that'll absolutely do for the rest of this. That is all I need out of the helmet for now until I manage to get a Elder base, which I haven't managed to. And then Gooby came in clutch a little bit later. I got a 6 link ornate ringmail. It would have been better if it was an armor evasion base, but didn't manage to get it. And I was like, Gooby, do you have any Wrath essences? And managed to use quite a few of them to craft this up because I didn't want any life mods on it for the passive tree. So Gooby has come in absolutely clutch and has been a legend this league, helping out. And then a bunch of other people. Obviously, from the accent, I am Australian. I've been playing at odd hours of the day compared to a lot of other people. But people like Jackie, Bobab. Is it Bobab? Bobab, COC, and Goblin really came in clutch. They were doing a bunch of EXP runs, which helped me get from 90 to 93. And then Goblin also did some 5 ways later. I was farming a bunch of Legion towards the end of the league. And so had a few emblems that I was able to give over for the help, but they helped me complete a 5-way. And then Bobab also came in clutch and helped me get my T17. I managed to farm a few T17 maps by myself, but wasn't able to complete them as this isn't the tankiest and isn't the best boss killer. It's very good at killing maps. But those people are just the ones that come to mind that really helped out throughout the league as well. Happy to have made some friends while we've been going along. And then with the craft on the helmet that I wanted to do, I really wanted socketed AoE gems. So I was running a bunch of Betrayal and Expedition early on, and Jun managed to come in clutch on my second Katarina kill. I managed to get a Veiled Orb, which was huge for me, and I think I managed to get another 2-div unique, the 2-handed sword with Veiled mods that I was able to trade to another player for a bunch of Chaos and Legion Scarabs, which really helped fast track me along as well with what I was trying to do. And then coming now in towards the end of the league, I haven't had as much time to play because of work and other commitments, but I've been jumping on for a map here and there, and I think for the first map I've jumped on every day, I've managed to get a div from Legion, so that's felt really good. Yeah, we'll have a look at the rest of the build and just how we've managed to progress throughout this league. So we've got the boots here. I've managed to craft up this belt by myself with more armor. It's not the best, but I got Chaos Res on it, which I was really looking for throughout this build. The gloves aren't anything special, but they've got a bit of res, all the strength and dex that I would hope for with this build, as I didn't have a lot going on with everything else, but it was super solid. I got the obliteration from the guild stash, and I managed to buy myself a singularity, which helped me with doing my bossing quite a lot. Then crafted up this necklace by myself. I got increased armor and damage over time multiplier and chaos res, and I was like, sweet, I'm going to spend some of these div here and just with max life and area damage on it. And then I've been looking for some more suppress gear, but I managed to get this pretty huge suppress shield with some max life, ES for my Eldritch Battery, and so managed to get the build filled out pretty well. From the guide I was running off, I think when I activate all my flasks, I get up to 38,000 armor, and then I also have the one that while I'm in soul gain prevention, I get a bunch more armor, so pretty tanky, all things involved. Managed to get a good couple Eldritch Implicits to raise those. Still didn't manage to cap out the Chaos Res and the spell suppression, although it's lucky, so it ends up being something like 90%, but would be trying to get some more of that going on. In terms of offense, I was hoping to try and get over 2 mil DPS, which I managed to do. So my Wave of Conviction, I think, does about 700,000 with Ignite and spamming for a while. And then my Vile Flame Blast, I think I get up to 2 mil Ignite DPS when I'm using the Singularity, 10 mil DPS overall. But I stalled out on leveling. I was trying to get to level 100 for the challenges, but I've been stuck at level 94. Because I've been playing like I'm uber tanky and can run in and burn everything down, but that wasn't quite the way that it worked out, but I've managed to get there for now. And then passive tree, I was going off of Zizzarin's Wave of Conviction on max roll, which is super helpful for beginning. Got the energized armor, although I was playing around. Ended up dropping 1,000 life for this tree here, which ended up bumping my damage a lot. I got a good large cluster jewel with fire damage and just general increased damage. Managed to get prismatic heart and disorienting display, so managed to craft up myself a good elemental damage one, and then I've whacked this in there with some damage over time multiplier. Yeah, thank you to everybody who ran this league. I had a blast of a time. It was exactly the amount of community that I needed to keep me really interested, and it was so awesome seeing everyone being so nice to each other and giving so much to each other to help out while we were going along. So thank you all very much. I hope we get to do something like this again. This was a great way for me to get back into Path of Exile. Peace!